Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. So on today's video, I'm going to discuss some of the critical changes that I'm making on my portfolio. I believe that there is a lot of risk in the markets right now, so I'm repositioning my portfolio. For example, I have sold my small cap 250 index fund, the entirety. It was a lot of money. I had put it in front of you last year, so I've exited that completely. I'm adding a lot more US stocks, and there are certain types of mid cap to large cap companies that I'm adding into my portfolio. So I'm going to talk about to give you a flavor as to how you can reposition and rebalance your portfolio. For people who are new to my channel, my name is Akshat Shrivastava. I am a full-time investor now. I travel across the globe, gain insights, work with a lot of HNIs. I'm running my hedge fund. I get to speak with a lot of rich people who are running their businesses, investing money on full-time basis. So whatever insights that I get from them and through my own experiences of building and managing a fairly big portfolio, I try to share it with all of you. So on that note, let us kickstart our video and let me take you point-wise as to why am I making certain type of changes on my portfolio. So the first key major change that I have made on my portfolio is to cut my entire small cap position. So मैं आपको ये दिखा भी देता हूँ. This is one of my mutual funds, right? And this is something that I had built publicly last year, right? You can see that I'm sitting on roughly like 40% gain here. इसमें XIRR is only 26 now because I have cut my small cap funds, right? So now why have I cut my small cap index funds? The reason is very simple and I will tell you from here. Since the last 1 year, since I have purchased, the small cap gave a run up of roughly 115%. Out of this, I was able to capture roughly 90%. ये अगर snapshot होगा तो I will attach it here also, that how I was able to capture 90% of this, right? And since then, स्मॉल कैप्स हैव करेक्टेड अ लिटिल बिट, लेकिन ऐसा कोई बहुत ज़्यादा करेक्शन नहीं हुआ. 6-7%, 6-7% इज नॉट दैट बिग अ डील. Now, a natural question comes कि अच्छा, why are you cutting your position? Can you not just simply hold it? Because, आगे चल के growth तो होगी in small cap, mid cap. So for this, you need to take a slightly long-term view. So let me share that also. So let's look at from pre-COVID levels, right? And the total run-up is 230-240%. Now, typically speaking, the return mathematics is that if you're looking at large caps, right? So जैसे Nifty 50 are large caps. So इसमें approximate yearly return is like 12.5% on a last 20 year CAGR basis. Small cap mid caps में यार आप मान लो 20 to 24% के आसपास होता है, right? So if you look at last 4 years, it has been fairly bullish, right? So for last 4 years, we have made how much? Approximately 250%. Okay, so ये काफ़ी ज़्यादा है. Now what has happened pre-2020 is, if you look at the small cap index space from 2017 all the way till 2020, they had actually come down, right? So आप ये सारी return mathematics if you put and try to compile and understand, what you will figure out is क्या, देखो, in this zone the small cap mid caps had fallen. In this zone from 2020 to 2024, very good run up, right? So this return A, return B, if you do the mathematics, it comes out to be fairly average returns. I would say that it would be around 24-25% CAGR के आसपास. So here we are at best fairly valued, and overall the market risk right now looks little bit high, especially from India's investing viewpoint. Now, what do I mean by India investing viewpoint? This is a video that I had done earlier. Please go and check it out. On this video, I had explained how do these stock prices move in India. So basically, in the last 4 years, what has happened is that FIIs have sold the Indian market, and DIIs, which are domestic institutional investors, they have bought the Indian market. They typically buy a lot of mid cap and small cap companies. जो FIIs होते हैं, because they have like pension money to handle and bunch of other different things, they look for slightly lower risk investments, because for them going to India itself is a slightly higher risk or emerging market proposition. So they typically hedge their portfolios and all that. So they primarily deal with large cap stocks, right? जिसमें वो FNO कर पाए, right? Futures and options, so that they can hedge their portfolio, right? Because for them, India is just a small market in their entire portfolio game. So they look for slightly lower risk but still high growth options. DIIs क्या करते हैं? DIIs look for extremely high risk or high reward options, so to say. And in the last 4 years, the SIP market has gone up like crazy. So a lot of money has flown into SIPs, and a big chunk of that money has moved into mid cap and small cap. For example, if we go here, this is the small cap chart. So I'm not saying that this entire gain will be wiped out. Maybe it will now consolidate, it will go up, down and all that stuff. So at least for a few months or a few years, maybe there can be a consolidation in this space, right? So this looks a little bit risky. There is no massive reward that I'm expecting by holding a lot of positions in small cap indices per se. So therefore I'm cutting it. I'm cutting my small cap position. So this is the first major change that I'm making onto my portfolio. Now what is it next that I'm doing? So by picking up this money, I'm looking for some mid cap to large cap opportunities. A very good case study would be something like CAMS, right? So मैं आपको CAMS का बता देता हूँ. सबसे पहले if you do fundamental analysis of CAMS, what you will find is this कि यार देखो इसके business में कोई problem नहीं है. Revenues, profits both are growing, no issues per se. CAMS had actually given very good run up. I have personally benefited from it. My community has benefited from it. My students have benefited from it because this is one of the stocks on which I had given commentary earlier also. So इसमें 80, 90% बन चुके हैं, right? CDSL CAMS दोनों में. And you can see that it went all the way from 2000, right, to roughly 4000. So काफी अच्छा इसमें run up आया है. And now it is correcting a little bit, right? So let me just show that to you on charts. What do I mean, right? So for example, यहाँ पे आप देखोगे जाके. So from its peak, it has corrected by 15%, right? Now this is a dip that is there. So a natural question to ask is that, hey, is this a dip or can it correct further? So उसके लिए आप देख सकते हो यार ये this is the channel, right? Maybe it will correct till here, right? And then maybe it will bounce back or it might get broken down. So if we do the industry level analysis, then we have to understand in which category CAMS, CDSL type of companies operate. They operate in what? They operate in stock market. Okay. If the stock market is typically going up or if the stock market is even going sideways, I don't think companies like CAMS, CDSL get hurt. They get really hurt when the stock market is going down. Okay. Now, हुआ क्या है कि in India, the entire SEBI issue is blowing up. Now, this has become a political war, right? अगर stock market गिर गया बहुत ज़्यादा, right? कि 30% correction आ गया and all that, then Congress will say कि यार देखो ये कांड करके बैठे हुए हैं and all that stuff. So, and what the government will say कि अच्छा you know what, नहीं स्टॉक मार्केट गिर ही नहीं रहा है, राइट? हमने संभाल लिया है, राइट, स्टॉक मार्केट. सो सिंस द स्टॉक मार्केट इज नॉट फॉलिंग, देयर इज नो स्कैम. सो स्टॉक मार्केट रिटर्न्स हैव नाउ बिकम एन ईगो इशू एंड अ पॉलिटिकल इशू बिटवीन द टू पार्टीज. ओके, सो व्हाट आई फील और माय प्रोग्नोसिस एज एन इन्वेस्टर इज कि यार मार्केट कैन बी टेकन साइडवेज, राइट? देयर इज अनलाइकली टू बी अ वेरी डीप करेक्शन इन द मार्केट. व्हेन आई से डीप करेक्शन, इट मीन्स मोर देन 20% करेक्शन इन द स्टॉक मार्केट which can be sustained. Now sustained का मतलब ये होता है कि गिर गया मार्केट by 20%. Now it is just like hanging there only, right, for like maybe 1-2 years. So I don't think if you are keeping a 3-year viewpoint, there is any reason to panic on stocks like CAMS, CDSL types of stock. So I'm still aggregating them, right, and I'm trying to buy them at dips. So this is one block that I have already invested. In case you guys are interested in learning more about fundamental analysis, getting quick time updates from my side, you can do two things. One is that you can join the member community. That is very important. I give very quick updates there. If you're someone who is new, who is not confident about investing in the stock market, I run live courses. Feedback has been excellent. Here are some LinkedIn posts. You yourself can go and check. These are genuine posts. You go and speak with those people. They have attended my course. They have really benefited from it. I teach everything from scratch. In case you're interested, there is a live batch coming up. You can check the links in the description and comment box. My batches usually get full within a week of launching. So in case you're interested, do sign up quickly. The primary advantage of this course is the completion rate of online courses is less than 5%. That is what the MOOCs, massive online open course data, tells us. But for my courses, it is more than 95%, right? It is not by default, it is by design. That because I have turned this into a live course, you get to engage, interact. Therefore, the completion rate is very high. Therefore, you actually get value out of the course. So anyways, coming back, I hope that this concept of CAMS is also clear. So then comes another natural question that, okay, what about stocks like Aavas? Because they are also small cap. You had earlier purchased it. Are you exiting your position? What is it that you're doing? So very quick commentary there also. See guys, basically Aavas is still available at a discount, one could argue, right? For example, this is your 200-day moving average. इसके आसपास ही stock है, right? It's not as if that you are buying very crazy right now, right? That's one. Second is that this is a lower risk stock. Why? I'll help you understand that point also. See, first and foremost, the revenues, profits of company is all-time high. There is no issue with revenues, profit of the company. Second key point is that if you look at the business of Aavas, what is it into? So यहाँ से आप देख सकते हो, it is into housing finance, right? Housing finance क्या होता है कि लोग घर के लिए लोन लेते हैं. And if the interest rates are low, they will pick more loans. If they take more loans, then the revenue of the company is likely to grow. So in what type of environment or what type of business cycle will Aavas benefit? Well, it will benefit when the interest rates go lower. When are interest rates likely to go lower? Well, in the next 3 to 4 months, US is almost given is going to cut its interest rate now. Why? Because the inflation data in the US has now come at a not historic all-time low, but very recent all-time low, right? So from that note, it is almost given. Almost every single economist is now predicting that US is going to do an interest rate cut. If they do interest rate cut, what will India do? India is also likely to cut its interest rate. And if India cuts interest rate, then companies like Aavas is going to benefit. Which other companies are going to benefit? Okay, so for example, Bajaj Finance का मैं आपको technicals बता देता हूँ. तो for example, यहाँ से if you check, right, the stock was in a downtrend here, right, and this is from 2021. This is when actually the entire stock market corrected between like 2021 mid to like 2023 mid, right? So that was a correction time. Stock hasn't moved, right, from this level, right, to this, right? So almost how many years gone, right? Almost 3 years gone, right? 0% return on the stock. कुछ problem है stock में? Absolutely not. Now you'll say कि अच्छा, you know what, Jio आगे बढ़ गया है, right, and Jio is going to eat business into Bajaj Finance. भाई Jio तो सबका ही business खा जाएगा, right? Now that does not mean that you stop buying companies that are competing with Jio. Now Jio will compete with EMC companies also. Jio might compete on insurance also. Jio might compete with CAMS also. Who knows? So Jio तो सबको ही खा जाएगा. Now that does not mean that this will happen by next year. Okay, so this will take time. What one could potentially do is that have some Jio also. I also have Jio on my portfolio, and I also have Bajaj Finance, right? Why? Because Bajaj Finance is at a good level right now. It's not as if that you're buying this stock really expensive. And with interest rate cuts, what is going to happen? Well, the consumer lending space is going to improve. Consumer lending space के पीछे for the last few months, maybe like 8-10 months से RBI has been very active कि consumer space हमें कम करनी है, all that stuff. But I think that regulatory pressure is going to ease. Interest rates are going to get cut. The moment that happens, this lending space is going to pick up. Consumer loans are going to pick up. I had been speaking about two themes in the last 5-6 months on my YouTube channel. For example, one stock that I had discussed was TCS. ये यहाँ पे मैंने बात करनी शुरू करी थी. It has already gone up by 17-18%. Open videos पे थी ये चीज़, right? I mean, you go and check my old videos. I had spoken about TCS. If you have actually benefited from it, do share your comment, because कुछ भी trolls आ जाते हैं and you know they start like trolling unnecessarily. 2 रुपए नहीं invest करते, but they have all the things to say in the world. So this is already going up. Again, this is a candidate that will benefit by interest rate cut. This was one. Consumer durables आप देख लो. Voltas and Whirlpool were 2 of my picks. They have done exceptionally well in the last 6 odd months. Go and check the data again. Why? Because that interest rate cut is already getting factored into the market. Now, what are some high risk stocks that you should be avoiding? See, पहली चीज तो ऐसे कि जिन भी stocks पे pump and dump हुआ है, right? Never touch those stocks, because time is going to be really tough on these type of stocks going forward. For example, this looks like a pump and dump. मैं यार guarantee तो नहीं ले सकता, right? I mean, Brightcom group पे भी ऐसी कुछ हुआ था, right? And I had made that entire video. You can again go and check it, and वो फिर बाद में you know inquiry आए and yeah it got evolved. So see, this was Vari Renewable. ऐसा कोई reason ही नहीं था stock के बढ़ने का, right from like whatever like 9 rupees all the way till 2,734 rupees. It makes no sense, right? And now if someone is buying it here, yeah, I mean, all I can say is that was just a very bad investment move. See, these type of stocks, I'm sure that people who listen to me, they will anyways avoid, right? So this is not a challenge. The challenge is to avoid good companies when they have become, or it looks like that they have become overvalued. Now for this, I'll tell you very quick Zomato story. See, if we look at from IPO level, I had purchased Zomato at around 60, right? A lot of people who watch my videos might have done the same, I don't know. So ये 60 से लेके 260 पे पहुंच गया, almost 4 times, right? Now I have cut my position almost 70-75% of it. Why? Think about it. Who are the peers of Zomato? Swiggy. What is the valuation of Swiggy in unlisted space? Well, it's between 11 to 13 billion dollars is the valuation that you are getting for Swiggy, which is a competitor company of Zomato. What is the valuation of Zomato? If you compare the number for this, the valuation of Zomato comes out to be roughly 23-24 billion dollars. Swiggy is available at 60% price of Zomato. Now, I understand that, okay, Zomato might be slightly better. It has made some very good business moves, whatnot, but almost double valuation. Does it make sense? To me, it doesn't, right? So I have rotated my money from Zomato to Swiggy. In case you guys want to know how to do that, tomorrow I will write a post on my member community, help you understand the challenges, how to do that in the unlisted space. So these are all the points that I'm executing. The very quick macro picture is that over the next few months and maybe over the next few years, there is a very high chance of a time correction in the market. कि market बहुत ज़्यादा easy returns नहीं देगा आपको. You have to make your returns. What do I mean by making your returns? You have to study the stock, study the fundamentals, do not buy overvalued things, have patience, Have patience on good stuff for it to run. If you are buying something undervalued, hold it. कुछ नहीं होने वाला. It's fine, right? It's not end of the world. HDFC नहीं बढ़ा 1-2 साल, ऐसा नहीं है कि it will stop giving run up. It is probably one of the deepest undervalued stocks right now. आएगा उसमें return. Whenever they run, यार वो इतनी तेजी से बढ़ते हैं that you will not be able to catch it. Okay, you can only catch a good stock as a fundamental investor when it is down. When a stock has run up, अब आपकी दम हो रही है Zomato में invest करने की? नहीं, right? I mean at 260, it will be very difficult for anyone to make good returns from a stock like Zomato if you're buying it now. You always make money by buying undervalued and then cutting your position or reducing your position or selling your entire stake when things look overvalued compared to its peers. That's the simple funda. Again, I teach all these fundamentals on my stock market course. In case you guys are interested, you can join. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. You learned something new. If you did, do press the like button and I'll see you soon.